Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's Fish Like a Local,
an angler's podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran and first responder service organization.
What's up, guys? You're watching Fish Like a Local and Anglers podcast. We appreciate you being here tonight. I'm Captain Justin. As always, my co-host, Captain Keith Davis.
Woo, letter E, baby.
Mr. Joe the Pro Vecchia himself.
Whoop, whoop.
My buddy Robert, I Know Somebody Walker.
What's up?
And we want to welcome to the show tonight our buddy Tyler T-Bone
Howdy.
Harmon. This guy's a flounder inshore fish killing machine, and we want to learn something tonight. Tyler, what are you bringing to us tonight? You got some knowledge to drop on us?
Yeah, I've mainly just been focusing on flounder this year, so that's what I'm versed in right now.
It's not a bad thing to focus on at all.
Joe loves flatfish.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah. So what's your basic setup?
I'm throwing a bait caster. I really like that Cast King. They're really good at not backlashing. You can throw it out and not even hold the reel and watch it not backlash.
Really?
Really, no thumb pressure.
No.
So
thumb
you're saying
pressure.
saying that I could throw a bait caster successfully?
Yeah,
Okay.
you may stand a
May
chance,
stand a
Captain
chance.
Jay.
Cast King, if you're watching, man, I'm your guy.
I don't believe it.
I
No.
think it's.
I don't. I would bird nest it.
Yeah.
Over and
Yeah.
over.
You wouldn't know.
and
That's
over
the
again.
crazy
Have
thing.
you?
You'd have to hit a dock, even casting into the wind.
I'm probably
Now,
going to
if
do
it's,
that.
you mean with the boat or the rod? Because now we
With
may
the-
be talking more Captain Keith's department now. We're talking about Doc
I'm
Crazy.
smashing the dock.
If you were trying to skip and you caught a bad skip, that might backlash it, or you hit a pier, that might backlash it. And you wouldn't have to cut it out. You'd be able to pull it out.
Sweet.
But just casting into the wind with a good cast, good technique, it's not going to backlash.
You're running braid.
I do have one that I just bought rigged up with braid. I'm about to try it out because
Otherwise
a
you're
lot
just
of my
running-
heroes are using
Your
braid.
your
whacking
backlash
flounder?
is going to increase.
Yeah,
Really?
I'll say you're
I'm
whacking
gonna
flounder
let you know
straight on
that.
straight
That's
mono.
why I've delayed on it. Yeah, I've been using 20-pound mono. Apparently, I'm supposed to be using fluoro, but in shallow,
sucks.
We're anti-fluoro around these parts.
okay, and in shallow water, I don't think the floating line matters when you're fishing 2 feet of water. So
No.
yeah, 20-pound mono, and then I'm going to a swivel, and then I'm going to a 40-pound fluorocarbon leader.
swivel?
High vis, yeah.
You're a monster.
Freaking beast.
High vis leader.
So look, guys, what we're getting at right here is he has literally just thrown everything out the window we thought we knew about flounder, right? I mean, that's
And he is
Terminal time,
he
and he
has
is killing
no
them.
freezer room left.
no. I'm running charters. I put in the same launch he does. We're leaving about the same time. We come back with the charter. And this guy's got a box full of fish, and my customers are like, "Hey, we had a good day. We caught a few. We had a good time." And Tyler's like, "Well, I limited out. I just kicked ass and took names today." But killing it, man. That's awesome. Like you hear all these guys talk about stealth. You got to be small. You got to be swivels. You got no swivels, no terminal tackle. Get away from
10-pound fluorocarbon.
everything.
Right.
You're smoking these fish on a 40-pound fluoro.
With a
Yeah.
swivel.
Mono.
Swivel.
The
Was leader's fluoro, he said.
There's a guy out of Texas. I really liked his video. I want to try his rig eventually, but Cody Dunn, I think is his name.
Yes.
And he's trying to break his rod when he sets the hook. Flounder's mouth is solid
Joe's
bone.
got a little of that going on.
Yeah. Flounder's mouth solid bone. So I've broken off so many times due to their teeth or being over a log.
Yep.
That I just kept stepping it up, and
And you've not
I
seen
have a lot less break-offs. now.
But you've not seen a drop in bites. It's still there.
Yeah, I don't think they care about.
See, Joe's
They're
been holding
not
these
leader
secrets from
shy
us. Yeah.
like trout and redfish.
No, they're
got
definitely. But even redfish, I don't believe they're too much leader shy.
Right,
I
it's
mean,
mainly the trout.
because I fish 30-pound monofilament leader for everything. Now, I don't catch very many like
But when you
upper
do,
slot trout because of that, because the trout are kind of leader shy. But those 15, 16, 17, 18-inch trout, they don't care.
Yeah, it
Flounder
depends what
definitely
mood
don't.
they're in too.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome, man.
If they're
That
hungry,
makes me
they'll hit anything.
Yeah.
see. I sat and like I told you the other day. I'm listening to these guys talk about it and wanting to learn more about flounder fishing. I just don't do much of it, and everything I've ever heard has always been light on everything inshore. Light. Use as light as you can. But you guys are telling me now that don't matter with the flatfish. That's
You need
They're
to be.
saying just the specs.
just yes. But now I have heard that about specks, and I've experienced that with speckled trout. I've
Yeah.
targeted specks and reds a lot more than I have flounder. And specks are spooky. They're very easy to run off.
I know guys in the wintertime that downsize to 6-pound
Yeah.
mono just for the speckled trout, winter speckled trout run.
I set hooks too hard for that.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like T-Bone likes to set it pretty hard too.
Yeah, you
do.
yank their lips off.
I had a day trout fishing where me and my friend were using the exact same lure, and it came down to him not catching fish, and we were like analyzing it. I wound up cutting off my lure, cutting off a section of my line, tying it line to line onto his, put the same lure back on, and started catching fish. And it's like there's definitely times where the trout will not hit it unless it's
Yep.
a light,
Super light.
yeah,
Yep.
light.
Well, I know from experience fishing with Joe some that a lot of it is just feel on the flounder, knowing it's a bite, not a snag. There's a lot of touch to that. I think.
Yeah,
I didn't,
Well,
I didn't say I knew that. I set hooks on trees every time I find a fish.
Well, I mean, what I'm getting at is like I was not doing that. That's my point. I
Oh,
watched
yeah.
that video of you guys, and I started feeling for even the smallest little where it stops. And
So
I started hooking
I'd
some
like
fish.
to hear the difference between T-Bone and Joe. If you're going to describe this to a Googan angler, what's the bite feel like? Because it's the hardest thing for me to describe to anybody. And you guys are going to have two different Bibles on that, I believe. So
we've heard your exact setup now too.
Well,
So
we
lead
haven't
into-
heard his lure yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Give us the lure, and then Joe, you give us your setup and how you're doing it, and compare like Keith's talking about there. Let's
I want you to describe the bite to a new angler.
that's a
down
bunch
here.
of questions. Who's going
So
first?
the bite, it's not always the notorious thump that people say. Sometimes it is. Sometimes they nail the hell out of it. Sometimes it's almost like a sheep's head bite. And then sometimes your line just gets tight. It's different for every fish. It's whatever that fish feels. So you just got to be on the lookout and watch your line tension really.
So where are you at on that, Tyler? Similar opinion, or
I tell people that are on my boat, I'm like, 80% of the time, you're just gonna feel a dead weight on the line. I'd say that's the majority of the time. I think about 10% of the time they're gonna run towards you. Your line will go slack, and that's one of the more challenging hook sets right there. Because sometimes those big ones will take off with it.
Yeah,
and
those
they'll
will.
come right at you, and then you get a horrible hook set and wind up losing them. The other 10% of the time, you feel that thump.
I got you.
Yeah.
So the thump is probably the anglers. They feel that once and they get excited and they tell everybody, "Oh, it's the flounder thump." That's just wait.
I'm guessing it's coming. Are you doing a pretty fast retrieve?
I change it up. A lot of times, it depends on where I'm fishing. If I'm fishing a little bit deeper water, I'm going to fish a 1/4 ounce. I probably fish a 1/4 ounce in 2 foot of water, but it just depends on what's going on that day, what the wind is. An 1/8 ounce, if you could just pick up, reel in your slack, pick up, and that steady retrieval, that'll do it every time.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you're gonna feel more thumps the slower it goes. I'm guessing they're hitting it when it's off the bottom.
Yeah.
In between bumps.
A lot of the times, I can feel them chewing on my bait, like trying to get it down, and that's 'cause,
a smaller
I almost
flounder
fish
usually.
in ultralight. Like it's a rod similar to that, but the tip's way more sensitive, which is why I like to break rods. But you can almost it's like a sheep's head, just except the bite lasts way longer.
It's crazy. Sometimes the big ones will tap like that, but in general, I feel like that's a smaller flounder when it's got the croaker head on it.
Right.
you know?
So, Tyler, how aggressive are you fishing? Are you low and slow, or are you aggressive?
I learned a lot watching Bayou Bandit and Captain Collier, so they're very fast retrieve, and I like that concept just because you're covering a lot more ground. That being said, sometimes I'll have people on my boat that, they like to do it their way, which is fine because I love seeing them catch more fish than me. And sometimes those guys that are really just dragging it across the bottom wind up catching more. So I think, is that why you vary your retrieve? Because
I just change it up to see what the bite's doing for the day.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes you're working it as fast as you can, and you can fish a mile stretch in 5 minutes, or the bite slow down, and you're just really, come on, fish, you know.
Yeah.
So Tyler, what's your lure setup there? We doing a curly tail, grub?
I'm fishing Bayou Bandit style, where there's a teaser on it. So I fish a 1/4 ounce jig head on the bottom. I use the Texas Size Z-Man jig heads, and then about 10 to 12 inches up, I have a dropper loop, and I put a 4/0 Gamakatsu bass hook on there. I try to make sure the hooks are facing the same direction. So
There's your pro tip right there, guys.
One's not upside down.
That rig gets it done every time.
I was about to ask you if you were throwing a rig like that, the tandem setup. We talked about that last episode some.
Bayou Bandit's right. I think all my biggest flounder have come off that teaser.
Off the top one?
Yep, they come up and smash that top one.
So when Aspinwall was on with us that week, he touched on that same rig, that weight on the bottom kind of waking the fish up a little bit and it looking up and it sees that teaser up high. I think it was Aspinwall. Maybe that was you talking about
It was me.
That. It was during that episode, I guess. But yeah, I remember us discussing that, and that makes perfect sense. It really does. Now you're that's proof right there, Robert. 100%.
Yeah.
And every time I'm using a different color.
Yep.
For each lure. So
Okay.
I really like the pearl. Everyone knows white is good for flounder.
But you're using one color on the bottom and a different color on the top?
Right, yeah.
All right, so Keith talked about the bite. Let's talk about color-wise. You're saying you mix it up, but what are you going? Let's say the water, lately we had a lot of rain. It's been darker, murkier water. What are you throwing in dark water? What are you throwing in clear water? Do you change it, or do you just stick with your color and that's it?
I usually stick with my color. I'm throwing the Z-Man lures primarily. I really like that TPE. The fact that you can catch like 100 fish on them.
On one lure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I usually go dark on bottom and pearl on top.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to only throw white lures, and over the past, I think, like 2 years, I've kind of opened up, and I've been throwing different colors. On muddy days, like a purple plum color bait with a chartreuse tail is going to be absolutely killer.
Yeah, I got to start varying it.
Well, that matches up with even like bass fishing.
Yeah.
We talked about like on Gunnersville, that water stays pretty murky and dark, and you hear on the darker waters throw darker baits. So if you're talking purple, I'm gonna say that falls in that realm.
Yeah.
If you get some clear water, lighter. But I watched you again kick my butt that week fishing the lagoon, and you were throwing nothing but the Salt Strong flukes.
Yeah.
They were just white.
Well, you got to think, for that body of water, you got a lot of those glass minnows, and a lot of those bait are kind of white from the nature that they come from off the beach. They're just a white bait. So,
and I guess that's a good example of that, because that lagoon stays fairly clear. Even the dirtier areas
clear,
are clearer
sandy
than the
bottom.
river. So
the bait in there is going to want to blend.
I like a
in with
nuclear chicken
that. Yeah.
in the lagoon.
Electric
Yeah, it's
chicken,
good.
Yeah,
baby.
even though I'm not good at catching flounder, I cut my teeth and learned how to catch flounder wade fishing that channel where it comes
where I caught my
in
first
West
ones at.
Beach, and it is on Gulp nuclear chicken shrimp.
Yeah.
that nuclear chicken, that's like a chartreuse tail on it, isn't it?
No,
No,
it's
that's-
top's pink and bottom's green, or vice versa, but
Okay.
it's half and half. It's not front and back. It's top and bottom.
Even the
Gotcha.
tail's mixed, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you catching a lot of Gulf flounder in the mouth of that?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
mainly.
That's primarily what you're going to catch in there.
How big do they get as big as
No.
the southern?
So, okay. So, when we were collecting clippings last year for Marine Resources to test against their flounder breeding stock, making sure that what they had released out into nature was integrating with the naturally occurring flounder, we were talking about those Gulf flounder, and we used to use the running boards on the state pier because they were 12 inches wide, that cement, to measure our flounder and make sure they were legal. Well, then they increased the size limit to 14. And we're like, well, that's only females, because the males don't get over 12 inches. And we're talking to Marine Resources, and they're like, we thought the same thing. And then we had divers out on reefs bringing us 22-inch Gulf flounder
Wow.
to use for our breeding stock. They said once they get over that 12 to 14-inch size, they live their lives out there on the reefs.
You know, Joe caught a 20-incher?
22.
80-something feet
It
of
was
water.
22.
or
And
more.
let me tell you, it was like reeling in a piece of plywood. It was horrible.
On a piece of squid on a chicken
Yeah.
leg, of all things.
Because, Tyler, mostly what you're catching is going to be the
Southern
flounder.
Yep.
And apparently, there's another one called the oscillated or
Yeah, I think you got to count the spots by its eye to figure out which one that is.
I don't have that many digits.
So what's your PB right now?
it's not that great. My PB is 21.
Okay, no, that's awesome.
Better than mine, bud.
Yeah.
This year I've only caught 3 that were 19 or bigger.
Yeah. I tell you this.
Most of my doormats are in the 18 to 18 3/4.
I mean, that's still
this
a
year.
beautiful, nice
Oh,
That's
fish.
a nice fish, yeah. Toki,
Anything over 17, they start looking.
But now that we've been catching these larger flounder, when I do catch one that's even legal at 14, 15 inches, I can't bring myself to kill that little thing.
Right.
I want to be able to take some fillets off of it. And I know you can stuff them, but
They got 4 fillets.
You know, I think the biggest. I think the biggest I've caught is an 18. And of course, my wife has outdone me already. She's got a 21-inch. She caught in one of our tournaments.
oh,
but-
she told you about that?
Oh no, yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you, but 22 and a half for me. But
Heck yeah.
lady right down the road here at the corner, what was that? 2 weeks ago, Miss Jennifer pulled in a 24-inch.
Wow.
Very, very local in this area.
Wow.
24, huh?
Yes.
That's a kitchen rug.
Hell yeah.
or
It
kitchen,
was not a
solid
doormat. It
fish.
was a bed
Yeah, that's
liner.
a bed liner. Yeah, I like that. That's a bed liner. That's a
Not
good
quite
name.
a halibut, but it was a bed liner.
So, Tyler, what else you targeting while you're out there? You like the specs? You like the reds? I know you do a lot of fishing at night on the lights.
Yeah, that's so I kind of was overstocked on trout and redfish, so I started focusing on flounder. But I feel pretty comfortable fishing lights. Yeah, and I do have the trolling motor with spot lock, so I just go from light to light, and I've had better luck in deeper water.
What are you calling deeper? Because we know it's fairly shallow in our area.
So in our area, you saying 5 foot deep, 3 foot deep,
8
8
foot,
foot deep, 10
18.
foot, 14 foot.
Yeah, as deep as possible. Well, I mean, the light is usually going to be in shallower water, but having deep water off that light,
Usually
Is,
dredged out for like a boat or something in a boat dock.
yeah. That being said, I fished plenty of shallow water lights that are in crystal clear water, and you see
Still fish
huge fish on them. So to each their own.
So, are you seeing these fish? Or are you visual? Because when I'm fishing lights, if I don't see activity on the light, I may throw at it once, and I may just float on by it. I'm actually looking for those actively feeding schools.
Yeah.
Am I doing it wrong? Are you fishing the lights that aren't showing signs?
For the most part, that's when I get the most excited is when I roll up and I'm like, either that's a redfish or that's a massive speck. Like that, those are the ones that really get your heart beating when you can see the blow ups happening when you pull up. That being said, sometimes you roll up and you see a whole school of redfish just right there under the light, and I think the more redfish, the better. If there's a school, they're competitive, and you can drop it right on their head. They ain't gonna spook. They're gonna be be the first one to that lure.
Well, I will say this. When I first moved down here, and it's been 15 years ago, I'd already been fishing down here, coming down and visiting for a while, but I brought my boat down when we used to go fish the dock lights there behind Unknown Island, back near Old River, on the backside of Old River. We would work those lights like crazy, not really knowing much about this kind of fishing. Then I was just Carolina rigging with some live baits. I'd throw a cast net, and we would catch redfish and trout like crazy. Never caught any flounder much on them, but we would load the boat up on these fish, and I would notice some nights my favorite lights, I wouldn't see any fish. Some nights it'd be like you said, there'd be a school of them, and you go, oh, that's your heart gets to thumping, you're ready. But it's really hard to say, Robert, because there's nights where I wouldn't see a fish, but I know that's my favorite light, and we'd stop on it, chunk of Carolina rig out there with a finger mullet on it, and redfish, trout. As fast as we catch them, never see a fish. There's nights where there's 4,000 catfish on those lights.
And we just catch ribbon fish.
Yeah.
ribbon fish on the light. So
Those are cool looking.
I don't know if there's much
They're
science
wild.
to that or not. I don't know if they're just down on the bottom feeding or what, but I remember looking back now, I've never thought about that too much because now I'm bad about just scanning the light, and if I don't see anything moving on.
Those are challenging lights to fish.
Yeah, the current's ripping through there.
Water is crystal clear.
Yeah, so where you're
it's
casting, you're
hard.
not casting
They're-
into
they're
the light.
hard.
No, we'd have to pitch upstream and let it come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so flatter water, less movement. Where you casting, you're not casting right in the light. Even if you see a school of red, Tyler just said he'll drop it right on their head. If
Yeah.
you got a whole school of reds, yeah, absolutely. But if not, you're going to stop and fish that light. Where are you going to cast?
Well, I think that depends on the fish too, because it's talking about like going back to speckled trout being they're a little skittish. You might spook them, dropping it right on their head.
If it's underwater light, you do not want to cast in the light. You want to cast in
shadow
the
light.
I don't
black.
even like those things, dude.
Yeah,
They
I like
piss
the
me
white
off.
ones above the water better. I think.
I like the yellow ones.
The low,
Yeah, yellow.
the low
Yellow,
light yellow.
orange.
Joe and I have a
red.
secret
Dude.
low yellow light. It doesn't even look like it's on until you get there and it's on.
Dude,
Like,
That's awesome. Yeah, those are.
there's a
it's
few
crazy.
of them out in Mobile Bay that are like that, and if you're able to, wind conditions and everything's come together, and you're able to fish on the eastern shore, do it.
That's where I grew up. That was my intro to trout fishing. I was in
Yeah.
high school. There was this. My family owned a pier in Battles or a bay house in Battles Wharf.
Yeah.
The neighbor was this guy named Mr. Rivenbark. He was a plumber, and he'd let us go out there, and he taught me trout fishing. At the time, we'd have a hook about a foot and a half below the cork, and he had a PVC pole attached to a scoop net. And he said, when you see one of those minnows, scoop it up, and that's a speck. And they were, I don't know what they're called, but they were kind of like a glass minnow, but they're thicker, like a cigar.
it's
And they're
got the
about
white stripe down the side.
real silver sides.
So
maybe.
yeah, that's what I call them, silver sides.
Okay. Those things, man, if you just put it through their lips and throw it out there and the specks are around, they will nail it. I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen that
minnows since I
species of
was a
minnow
kid.
in a long time myself.
Yeah, I wonder if they're
Huh.
extinct or maybe they only live in the bay. I don't know. But that's where I grew up fishing. We were spoiled.
The flounder
like,
fishing.
in the 90s, yeah.
It's fire over there.
So you want to talk about the
In
night
battles.
fishing buoy?
Yeah, so we got our buddy at Night Fishing Buoy sent us a couple of his samples, and so how would you feel about taking a light out? So you're a night fishing guy, pretty regular here. Would you be interested in taking out? So we've got a product this guy sent us. It's literally you place it where you want it, and it lights up, and it draws the bait, it draws stuff to it. I'm wondering.
You just hang it off your boat?
No, it's
an
a
anchor,
buoy.
and it's got
Oh, a
a
buoy.
it's got a
It's a lithium
light on it.
charge.
Yeah, rechargeable. You drop it wherever. Like so, you're talking about a deep spot that you would like, that find more fish next to the light. Maybe we go out and scout that out and try it one night. Leave it for an hour, come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
you can find somebody's dock that doesn't have a light in 12 foot of water and drop it right
Yeah,
there.
I mean
Give
we've
them a
caught
light.
fish on it already. I'm trying to think. I just went brain dead on his name. I'm sorry, buddy, if you're watching. But I'm gonna tag him on Facebook on this. But they work great. Like he had no idea that saltwater fishermen fish dock lights, and me and Dusty were talking to him, and Dusty says, "Yeah, man, that's my favorite." He sends us a couple of trout, and I put some of my customers on it on an evening/night trip one night. We caught flounder off of it in West Lagoon. It wasn't a bunch of flounder, but it was one or two, but it came right under the light. And now, given we'd caught a few earlier in the daytime, so they were there, but we put the light in, we'd moved over 100 yards and fished for 30, 45 minutes with nothing, and then he catches a flounder on it. Then another one shortly after. And it was great. And so that usage, it kind of, I'm sure as a businessman, he probably liked hearing that, hey, this works in salt too.
I wonder how much of it is the people having the lights on every night so that the fish kind of get used to that
See,
light
routine.
and coming back to it.
And that's my theory on it. Is that how long does it actually take?
So
Well,
Hey, well-
I can tell you on the bait.
Is that what
we
y'all
drop-
used?
We dropped that
for those
joker in, and it didn't
croakers?
take 10 minutes.
No, when we anchored during ADSFR, Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo last year, overnight, Captain Dave Stiller, we're out there hunting sharks, and just the lights around his boat had squid in minutes.
But that's what I'm saying. It always attracts the bait fish and the smaller fish. But how long does it take for a predatory fish to feel comfortable enough to come into that light?
I would guess
That's what I wonder.
45 minutes to an hour.
And then they may still just stay around the outside of the lights, but
Yeah. Well, either way, again, we've caught fish on them. We've had success. Now, I haven't done it a lot. I've tried it twice. Dusty's carried it a few times. He's done some videos bringing bait in. He likes fishing live bait, so it kind of fits. But honestly, I mean, I think we drop that somewhere out there and disappear for an hour,
Absolutely,
hour and a half,
absolutely.
come back. Stay within range. We don't want somebody rolling by and be like, "Oh, check this out, a free floating light."
Yeah, we got our own fad.
I
Light.
maybe one night if you want to get out and try that theory, man. Well, I'd
It'd
love
be
to get out there with you.
interesting.
and you can go ahead and fish some of the other lights while you're waiting on that one.
So, okay, speaking of fishing lights, so say you're going wherever, up the river, the old river, whatever, and you fish these lights and you're going to have to come back out the same way you went in. How long a break are you going to take from the initial fishing the light to hit it the second time, or are you going to skip it and just come back out? That's Joe and
It just depends how horned up the fish are. Sometimes it's like 30 minutes, an hour, you can come right back to it. And
We've worked 4 or 5 docks down through there, and then came back because the bite wasn't good on that end. Came back to the front end where it wasn't good to begin with, and boom, all of a sudden fish. So I guess it depends on the night, the current. It's like everything else.
Tidal
There's
flow.
a million things controlling it. And
yeah, the tidal flow is big, I think, especially in that area.
Yeah, there's a light that I fish that if you go to and the tide has just changed over and it's rushing, it is boiling. Like, it looks like a pot of boiling water. If you go to there on a slack tide, or the tide has just stopped slowing down, or even the lower end of a tide cycle, there's no fish on
You
it.
talking about any light in general, or
Just this specific light. It
the one you're not going to tell us about?
I'm not telling you about it.
that's all right. We put the air tag on his too.
we've done
So
air tagged all y'all's boats.
What T-Bone
We're
don't
good.
realize is while he's here shooting a podcast here, we've got a couple members of the team over there air tagging his bay boat.
T-Bone
Find these
says,
holes, so-
I don't have to give up my locations and numbers, do I? I was like, no, we already tagged your boat. Don't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
good.
it.
Gio, we'll transfer those over to the computer later, buddy.
So what species are we missing? What's your setup for redfish?
Yeah, hold on. Let me do it this way, Rob. Let me throw something in. We got some baits here that our sponsors send us right now. I know Q8's a big one, Bait Fuel. Tyler, on this table, can you answer that question? If you had to go from this pile right here, what are you throwing today for a redfish?
I guess I would probably try these 5-inch paddle. I really like paddle tails. That's
Show
what
that
I'm-
to the folks at home there.
That's mainly what I'm throwing.
Oh, yeah.
I like that color too.
color there.
That
No, give me
pink
the
and
pink
white
one.
one.
Oh, the pink and white one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
That's the
checked
big
those
bite
out?
baits.
I like that.
Those are
one.
like a crossbreed between a paddle tail and a fluke.
A little longer tail.
This
before the
looks
paddle.
good for flounder.
They
That's
produce.
what I said. But I ain't caught a freaking flounder on it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
I have. They work.
I
Nice.
guarantee you Tyler's going to take that pack home with him tonight because I'm giving it to him, and he's going to
Okay.
send us a picture of a flounder with it hanging out of his mouth in the next 48 hours.
They might.
I think
Well,
Robert has
I'll be at
tasked you
work.
with a mission.
We're leaving
Okay.
neap tides. Friday it might be good.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, he brought up the neap tide. Who's going there? with
Yeah,
him?
you catching anything on the neap tide?
It's weird. Sometimes I am. Yeah. But in general, flounder fishing revolves around high tide.
Yeah.
So I like to get out there on the way up, fish the high tide, and then fish on the way down. I have
And you fishing oyster beds, docks.
flooded marsh grass is the
Okay.
key word. I don't know what the genus species of the grass is.
Marsh grass works.
Grass.
Marsh grass.
It's the green grass.
Oh.
that-
The green.
Not the brown
Bingo.
grass.
Yeah,
not the brown
Not
grass.
the brown
Not the brown
grass.
grass.
the green grass.
There's your second pro tip of the night, guys.
Yeah, the green grass that's like half out of the water and half in the water. The brown grass is called juncus. They'll be along that sometimes, but the green grass, I think the green grass because it provides shelter for the bait fish.
Yeah.
So
They'll be in it, too.
Yeah, it's true. So, you can fish just along the side of that grass, but you can also, if you're hooking a lot of flounder, if you know you're on them, you can take it real slow and cast into every single line or pocket in that grass and come through all those different lines, like play it like a video game or something. Like, don't be afraid to
Oh,
cast
sounds
up
like
in
he's
there.
got forward-facing sonar.
Guys at home, if you're listening to this, rewind that and listen to that again. This is a pro telling you how to find these fish right here. he's breaking it down further than most of the guys that come on here with us.
All right, so question. Shade. If you see, say you're going around that dock, going back to that green grass line, are you fishing the shade side or sun side? I know you're going to fish them both, but where are you
Or is it
catching
the
more
current?
fish?
A lot of people say it's that current. They'll be facing into the current. You fished more structured than I have. I'm more grass man.
Honestly, in this time of year when it's hot, I kind of linger towards fishing the structure in the deeper water at the end of the boathouses and stuff. Just because those fish don't want to sit there and bake in 2 foot of water, so they'll move out and they'll actually school up underneath those boathouses, and you can pull 5 or 6 fish off of each dock.
That's fun when they stack up like
Back to the shade versus sun thing, it's kind of weird. A lot of the times you'll see that shadow of that dock, and it's weird. Sometimes you'll catch them on the shade side, sometimes you'll catch them on the sunny side, or you'll catch them coming in between that. I don't know if it's because the shade has it blocked where they can see the bait.
Could it be light refraction too? Because that light off that shadow may be at a different place once it gets to the bottom. So they may be actually in that shade, but look like to us they're laying out in the sunlight. I don't know. That's some crazy science to that.
I'm not a scientist. I'm
But
just
that would-
an
I mean-
angler.
No, it is.
No, but that's a solid point,
we
though.
walk in, we're on a job doing construction work, whatever, and your eyes have to adjust when you walk from the shade to the sunshine. So you're going to see the bait if you're a fish at what point, same way we do.
Now I don't see much. I got an eye doctor appointment coming up in August.
But
Gonna
the,
help that
the
theory.
refraction,
No,
the
but what I
water
could
and the
see,
light
yeah,
and
you're
all
right.
that,
Old.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us.
Yeah, you'll get there one
You'll
day.
get there, young buck.
Nah.
So you guys got anything else to add?
Shoot.
There's
So,
a lot with flounder fishing.
Tyler, how do you plan your day if you're going out? Because I know you target. Do you simply go out and say, I'm catching flounder today and I'm not going to target anything else? Or do you go, let's say we're fishing a
Yeah.
Bond Score Butcher tournament. How are you going to play that 3
just,
species?
like I said, I'm just kind of addicted to the flounder fishing right now. It's a lot of fun. It's meditative.
Yeah.
It's repetitive. I started getting trigger finger in this ring finger
yeah.
holding the rod too much. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of work in it, dude.
So if you're
Yeah.
planning for one of these tournaments, though, where you got to catch 3 species, so for, say, the Butcher tournaments, well, how are you planning that
In
day
the
out?
daytime, I'm targeting the flounder. And then once I get the flounder, there's spots where I can go, like target a bayou and see if I can pick up a red here and there. But I think that I wasn't really placing in the tournaments at all when I was fishing those bayous. I think a lot of them are coming off those lights. The bigger fish are going to come off lights, in my experience.
Have you caught flounder on dock lights yet?
Not yet.
Figure it out. It's fun.
Are there a lot of them?
Yeah.
Nice.
More
done
than in the
much, but-
daytime.
Yeah,
Just bouncing
our
across
producer
the
Gio's
bottom.
wife outfished him recently on a dock light with a flounder.
I think there's actually
With her cane pole, right?
more
wow.
larger scale flounder on the dock lights.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't found a way to target
The issue
the
is you have
doormats
to
yet.
get past the other species to get down.
Yes,
in the
yes,
light.
yes.
So if you can throw past it and let it sink to the bottom and work your lure on the bottom through the
So
light,
what are you doing getting
can catch
past
a
the
flounder.
white trout and everything else?
you
that's
gotta
up
you
top?
gotta yeet it into the darkness.
Get it past them
Yeah.
completely. Where
You're
they don't
going to
see
eat
coming.
it, but you're talking an 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 3/8.
Yeah, are you
No,
trying
you-
to sink faster to get past
No,
them?
no, because if you
You
throw
just
it
yeeted
past
it in
them
there.
and you just let it sink deadfall
And then bring it back
and
into
you,
them.
you just shimmy it on the bottom
Gotcha.
through that light.
I would love to go out one day and do Bayou Bandits rig. The rig I'm using Bayou Bandits rig, but with Z-Man and
Right.
Procure.
Yeah, and you're kicking butt.
He's a fish bites guy. He uses only fish bites, but I think he's probably sponsored by them. He's getting them for free. He's going through them fast, you know, or maybe he's not going through them fast. But I just
Oh, they go fast.
Nah, dude, I don't think you can use fish bites and not go through them.
You go
Right,
fast.
okay.
Well, and I don't think they're necessarily designed them that way. I think it's just the way they have to be to hold that scent and do what they do. There's some that hold up a little better, but all of them kind of.
Yeah, but we have this conversation, like with Q8. They had a firmer bait last year that lasted longer. Mm-hmm. Okay, they softened it up, and it doesn't last as long, but it has better action.
catches
and it's
more
the
fish.
same thing with fish bites and those dirty boxers. If they made them any tougher, they would lose the action.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And they wouldn't work as well.
Yep.
But then it goes again. I think if you can present a bait in front of a flounder, it's going to get ate. I don't care what it is. It could be the Voodoo, the Q8, the bait fuel. If you can bring it in front of that flounder, he's going to eat it.
So 90% of flounder fishing, what you're summing up right there, is just presentation, putting that thing in front of his face.
Or the flounder being there to begin with.
Well, yeah, that's
I
pretty
got to
much.
find them first.
And that's pretty much any species too, though, because Salt Strong talks about that 90% rule. So
Yeah, you got to be on feeding fish.
Yeah, you got to know where the fish are, and we've been running into that on the reef offshore. They're just, I say we are. I'm looking on the fish finder, seeing them, but they're not chewing.
I did a little bit of extensive research on that. So the reason that I've read that you're not seeing the numbers of Spanish that you seen last year is, the influx of fresh water is a big thing.
It's been huge.
But bacteria can wipe out the grass that the glass minnows feed on, that those Spanish eat. And Spanish completely rely.
What about the bonita? Because I'm seeing a ton of Spanish, but no bonita.
They eat the glass minnows.
Yeah.
If there's no glass minnows,
no bonita.
there's no bait, so the fish have to move elsewhere to eat.
That was one of our favorite things to do on charters last year. Is we would run out to the reef, catch some beeliners, a couple red snapper during the season.
Get some meat.
On the way back in, we would chase bobos, and they would be boiling on those minnows
Yeah,
like you
that's
talked
fun.
about. We've got several videos of that, of kids doing it on the boat and just having a blast because they get to see these fish going crazy. But that fresh water and that bacteria could be, if you're right. We're seeing the big baits. They're here, what are they, the greenies, the menhadens, whatever they are.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them, but they're even on the reef though. Maybe I'm just missing something in the state waters on the Orange Beach side, but we're picking up a few beeliners at a time. We're catching a bunch of dink snapper.
Have you dropped a jig?
I hadn't tried a jig yet. No. Seems like, I don't know. I guess it would work in 70, 80 feet. I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
Were you
They
dropping
work
live
everywhere.
pogies?
Live pogies for the beeliners.
Everything eats live pogies. You
That's
would
what
think
I
that
thought.
would work.
Last year we were catching boxes of fish every trip, and this year it's slowed down big time. It's everything. Like I said, I haven't seen the first bonita. Normally by June we're catching bobos every trip.
Yeah.
I've had my shark fishing buddies going, "Hey, get me some bobos, dude. Get me some bobos."
Well, I know who caught the biggest fish out of all of us this week.
Who's that?
Captain Keith Davis.
Oh yeah, that thing definitely had a smile only a mother could love.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even sure Mother could love that big ugly.
Is that you want to explain why this thing's laid up?
Yeah, so can you see that rod, Gio? So this is a little 6-foot ugly stick. It's a bait casting rod
This is a redneck special. Baby.
with a tsunami, maybe 2,500, 3,000, fairly inexpensive spinning reel on it with 10-pound mono on it. So I'm flipping a dirty boxer on a piling.
For those of you that don't know what that is, that's not his underwear. That is a bait from Fish Bites.
Well, it ate it like it was dirty underwear.
He kind of looked like he had a pair of dirty underwear.
So
on.
anyway, I'm fishing a little 17-foot 1969 whaler. I've got my nephew out with me. Pitch this thing up maybe 8 feet from me on a piling. Jigged it up twice. Third time, fourth time, I set the hook, and I thought I had a stingray. So anyway, long story short, and there should have never been a ray anywhere where I was, 40, 41-inch black drum, 30 to 32 pounds on a little bitty nothing rod. So my point of this, so these guys always laughed at me the first time I showed up at one of their tournaments. I've got a bait casting rod with a spinning reel on it. So when I was a child, I love flea markets, garage sales, thrift stores. So you find a rod for $3, you find a reel for $2, you go find a 10-pound mono on clearance for $2, and for $9 you can go fishing.
So the yard sale special.
The yard sale
And it just
special.
goes to prove you don't have to have expensive equipment. You just have to know your equipment.
And we
Yeah.
love our sponsors, but holy smokes.
So this is more like nostalgia for you to go out there and play with that. It takes you back a little bit.
No, I'm still happy with this. I will fish this all day long, and you guys will laugh at me all
No,
day
I like-
long. But when I place in a tournament, y'all are like,
I love
"Oh
it.
my God, look at this little poor broke redneck!" And
We're
it's
laughing.
okay to be a poor broke redneck.
We're laughing with
The
you.
trigger,
we're-
the trigger don't get in your way.
No, and thank God it was an ugly stick, and
Yeah, it helped the ugly stick. I will
You
give
know,
him that. It'll work any which
and
way
I
up
got
and
to
down.
back the little boat out, and pulled a big ugly out from under the pilings before he dove on me again and then wore him out. But I'm just saying. So here's the funny thing for me, guys. So those of you that don't own boats, if you sit here and listen to us talk every week, so we have boats. If we're not offshore, if we're inshore fishing, guess where we're fishing? In our boats. We're fishing towards the bank normally. If we're not fishing deep pockets. So when we didn't have boats and we were bank fishermen, we'd chuck that son of a gun out as far as we could chunk it. Now we got boats. We're fishing the shorelines in the structure.
So there's the third pro tip of the night. Fish the shoreline.
So it's just crazy. Structure, match the hatch.
Well, what I love about this too, Keith, is when we talk about this a lot is, you know, for you kids at home that are begging mom and dad to go pick you up that $250 combo, dad's already struggling to pay the light bill, but he wants to make sure you're fishing. You don't need that.
Go to your neighbor's garage sale.
Yeah, go see somebody that looks like Keith out in his front yard, and I guarantee you he's got one of those in the shop.
That I will give you.
And it's just you can't catch fish if you don't go. And if you're waiting for somebody to buy it or you're trying to save for that $500 reel, look, Keith being one of them, I know guys that fish cheap reels that wear fish out. You don't need the best of the best. You just need to get out on the water. If you're not out there, you're not catching fish.
Hey, you live at the apartment complex, especially if it's a little par 3 golf course, those ponds are holding fish.
Tanks.
Big fish.
Tanks.
The biggest bass I caught was 10-3 come out of one of those ponds.
Yep.
Nice.
On a 8-inch sluggo on a rig just like that.
I've caught 5 fish over 8 pounds this year out of those ponds.
That's cool. I need to go pond hopping with you one day.
Gio's a pond hopper. He lives on one of those communities, you know? So what we're saying, get out there.
Yeah, get out there. It doesn't matter. Don't be embarrassed. If you want to go to this state pier and fish, you don't need, what's those fancy reels?
Yeah, those guys, bleep that out.
I'll bleep that out for you.
Yeah.
I'm using the flipper noise, by the way. What's those reels I'm talking about? The silver ones that are
Van Stahl.
Van Stalls.
The Van Stalls.
You don't need it.
Van
They're
Stall's
heavy.
junk now.
They're clunky. Man, no.
If you're out there on the end of that pier and you see these guys, you don't need it. If you're going out there to catch a king mackerel, you just need something capable of handling that weight. You can go get a $30 reel from Walmart or a yard
It's
sale
like a
special.
big wiener contest.
And if you're a freshwater fisherman and
don't.
you come down here to the Gulf, you can do just that. You can't see in this corner here. I've got a mess of freshwater cheap Walmart combo catfish that I've caught more saltwater fish on than I have everything else you can't see on the roof, the ceiling, and everywhere else.
So you've got a story on a stall you won.
Yeah, what happened with your Van
We're going to
Stall?
save that for stories with Captain.
Oh, okay. You don't want to talk about it tonight is what it is.
So point is, hey, y'all get out there and fish.
Yeah, 100%. You got to be
Yep.
on the water. You're not going to catch fish. It doesn't matter what you've got. And it does certain rods, certain things help. Yeah, they do, of course. But honestly, again, if you're waiting until you can afford that, you're not catching fish anyway. So that's just the moral of the story, man. That's a good story, Keith. Appreciate you bringing
Keep
that
her
out
wet.
tonight.
Good times and tight lines.
That's right, baby.
Hey, we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe. Tyler, thank you for being here, brother.
Big shout out to Gio on the
Gio.
board.
Every time, man. Gio does a great job with this. Thank you to all our sponsors here. Robert brings a pile of them. I can't ever.
These are just talking points.
Yeah, just talking points. But our main one, Barefoot, Lunker Hunt, Bullet Weights. Some of these guys that are really Daiichi, helping Keith and I out with
Q8.
Fish Like a Local and the whole
Bait
team.
Fuel.
Bait Fuel, Q8. We use all this stuff. So thank you guys so much for your support and help. Thank you guys for following. We will see you next week.
Yee.
Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's fish like a local.
An Angler's Podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran and first responder service organization.